Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 4 of our class. So, before I get into the content for this week, I just want to have a little conversation about discussions. So, a discussion about discussions. You will notice, starting as I'm grading your week 3 discussions, that I'm probably not going to be commenting a lot. I will be scoring you on the rubric. I find myself writing the same things over and over again. So I really wanted to go over this information with all of you. This may not apply to some of you. Some of you are doing just great and you are following all the guidelines and you're getting all your points. Other people are forgetting a few things. One, your initial response to the prompt is always due before Wednesday at midnight. If you do not respond to the prompt on time, you're not going to receive a score in the first 2 parts of the rubric. But you still should be doing the other responses. Speaking of responses, you should have at least 3 responses other than your initial response to the prompt. So altogether for the week, you should have 4 posts to the discussion. 1 initial response to the prompt, and then 3 responses to either me or your classmates. I would ask that you try very hard not to save all of your posts for the very last day. The reason why I say that is because this is an asynchronous class, and in order for us to really get what we need out of this class, it requires you be able to have those rich reciprocal discussions with one another. So do your best to at least do 1 or 2 of your posts earlier in the week, and that gives a chance for your classmates to respond, and then consider going back in. This is the same for, somebody who may post all of their posts on Thursday. Try to go back into that discussion board before the end of the week so you can see if any of your classmates have asked you any questions, if there's a need to respond to anybody. Maybe I've asked you a question. So please try to take a look at that and try to think beyond the just, doing it to get it done. I want you to gain as much as you can from this class, sort of get your money's worth out of your education. So that's about it for the discussions. I can't think of anything else. If you have any questions, feel free to be in touch with me. I did think of one other thing. Make sure that, especially your initial response to the prompt, that you use references and accompanying in-text citations. This shows me that you are making connections to the learning materials and your learning. You also need to have at least 1 in-text citation for every reference. What this does is it shows me and everybody else in the class what information you got from each resource. The assumption is that if you don't have an in-text citation, you didn't really get any information from that resource. And you should be citing even paraphrased information, not just direct quotes. If you have questions about how to do in-text citations, if it's still a little bit confusing for you, excellent website. If you Google APA owls, like hoot hoot owls, if you Google APA owls, it will take you to a Purdue University website that has wonderful resources to explain how to use APA format. So I hope that's helpful information for you. So let's dive into week 4. So in week 4, we are going to be diving into what teachers need to know about technology and its impact on learning. So for our learning materials this week, you are going to be taking a look at the Massachusetts Digital Literacy and Computer Science Curriculum Frameworks. That's a mouthful. You're going to be looking at 21st century classroom design, and you're going to continue reading Fish in a Tree, chapters 19, 20, and 21. And then for our discussion this week, I really want you to think about inclusion and accessibility. So I want you to be able to define what inclusion is and what accessibility is. And think of that in the context of meaningful inclusion. So that's my hint to you about inclusion and accessibility. Is accessibility meaningful inclusion? Let's discuss that in the discussion board this week. And then discuss your understanding of that. And then make sure that you take a look at the prompts that I have in the discussion board. Make sure you use research to support the need for inclusive and equitable education experiences. Think of all different ways you can make things accessible. Think about barriers that might prevent having that meaningful inclusion experiences. And also the consequences of not having those meaningful inclusive experiences and how they might impact a child outside of school, in the community, and even for the rest of their lives. And then, in your opinion, what technology resources would be the most effective for learning and why? So that's a pretty robust discussion prompt. I look forward to hearing from all of you on that. Again, initial response to the prompt due before Wednesday at midnight. Make sure you have those references and in-text citations. And then before the end of the week, make sure that you respond to at least 3 of your classmates or me, and do your best to do that through the week, so it isn't just do all 3 quickly at once, get them done with, and not go back in and look, or wait for the last day and post them all without giving anybody a chance to respond. And then our assignment for this week, you should develop either a paper in APA format, and that includes a cover page, references, and in-text citations, or a presentation. Make sure that your presentation has a narration. And again, it should also have references and in-text citations. I want you to define what digital literacy and digital citizenship are according to the research, and then discuss the importance and the challenges of both and what your understanding is of both. Then think about teaching strategies that you could incorporate the use of technology with. So think about the technology tools you would use. Are there specific subjects that you think lend themselves to the integration of technology the most? Think about any barriers or challenges about including technology, and any solutions you can think to address lack of technology resources. I hear that frequently. We don't have computers in our school. We don't have smart boards. We don't have access to certain kinds of technology. So what kind of solutions can you come up for as you're thinking of those barriers and for technology resources? So that is our work for Module 4. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the discussion and looking at all of your assignments. Take care and have a great week.